Hello. Thanks everybody for coming tonight to our first really public outreach meeting for our Plan of Conservation and Development, Groton 2035. For those of you that don't know me, I'm John Reiner. I'm the Director of Planning and Development Services for the town. And, you know, events like this, we really need input and participation from all of you. So we really appreciate all of you coming out tonight, giving feedback on all these boards. This is what's going to help start to shape what Groton looks like in the future and continue to, make this town an even better place. With me here tonight are a bunch of folks not only from our team in planning and development, but also some folks from Horsley Witten Group, our consultants, and Jeff Davis here is going to give a very brief presentation on where we kind of are on the Plan of Conservation and Development. And then again, even if you didn't finish going through all these boards, if we kind of pulled you away from this now, please go back. We need everybody to fill out each and every one, not just the things that are kind of near and dear to your heart, but we need feedback on every topic. Even if we don't think a lot about our transportation network or whatever it is, we need to hear more about each one of these. So with that, I'll hand it over to Jeff, and thanks again.
Thank you so much again. We're so happy that we had this turnout. Our team loves putting together events like this, and in a lot of communities, people just don't come out anymore. So we really salute you all for coming out and participating in your local government. So as John said, I'm going to try to keep this brief, even briefer than I already was, because there's been so much good conversation going around at the stations that we want to make sure that that keeps going. So wanted to give you just a little background on POCD 101. What are we even talking about? Why are we here? What is a POCD? So POCD stands for Plan of Conservation and Development, and Groton is calling its this current iteration Groton 2035, Building a Greater Groton. So you'll see that on all the logos and the boards around the room. So I just want to go through briefly what is a POCD. So it is a tool that communities throughout Connecticut use to make decisions about a number of things. So first of all, development, what it looks like, where it can happen, your environment and history and culture, so ways to protect environmentally sensitive areas, historic sites, ways to prioritize investments in community services and infrastructure, promoting fairness and opportunities for all residents to have a voice. One of the reasons we're here tonight is to make sure this is as accessible as possible, and we're hearing from as many people in the community as we can. And finally, better support for local business development, among a number of other purposes. Now, why should Groton bother updating its POCD? Well, first of all, it is the law. The state requires that every municipality update its POCD once every 10 years. You last updated yours in 2016, so we're getting there. Next year is your target, so we've got about the next 12 months to complete a POCD. But there are other reasons beyond just the fact that the state requires it that makes a POCD really helpful for communities. One, it helps you be more proactive in preparing for the future. It makes you a better steward of tax dollars, spending them efficiently and effectively. Also helps make sure that Groton is a better and stronger place for the next generation, that we're taking care of all your resources so it's there and your children and grandchildren can continue to live here and enjoy them. It's also to ensure that town policies and regulations support a shared vision, so you are all rowing in the same direction towards a common goal. And finally, a POCD is a really good way to support grants, financing, and private investments in your community. When people know that you have a plan, that's something that people can get excited about and invest in as well. So what goes into the making of a POCD? First off, existing plans. The town of Groton has done a lot of work in the last 5 or so years on a variety of planning, whether it be housing or parks and recreation, and so forth. There's been a number of really good planning efforts in the last several years. So the POCD is sort of an umbrella, a place where you can pull all your best ideas together in one place. It's also a place for facts and data. We want to think about what demographics and local statistics are telling us and how that can inform your decisions as a community. Next, and why we're here tonight, we need this plan to reflect the needs and desires of residents and business owners like you to live a happy and fulfilled life here in Groton. So our most important task throughout this process over the next 9 to 12 months is to hear from as many people in Groton as possible. Now, what does the POCD cover? It is, as the name suggests, comprehensive. It covers all sorts of things, from the development end to the conservation end. So community services, housing, transportation, future growth, natural resources, historic resources, economic development, parks and open space, and sustainability and climate change, and more. So it's all of these things, but think about it as these things where they intersect with land use and how we use land, where we develop, where we conserve, and how that is all balanced. So that is the main focus of any POCD. And these are living documents. They are meant to evolve over the 10 years that they are in effect. So we set a vision, and that vision often goes out even farther than that 10 years, maybe 20 years into the future. What is that target? What do we want to look like in 20 years? It sets out a number of goals, and these basically ask the town to think about what you are going to look like in 20 years once that vision is achieved. We're also including policies or objectives, which are really just ways that you go about as a community reaching your goals. And finally, of course, specific actions, steps to take to implement the plan. So how will this POCD be structured? So how the town has decided to approach this POCD, this iteration, is to have it be in 3 parts. So part 1 is a baseline report, and we are almost done with that. That will be on the Greater Groton website imminently, but that looks at facts, data, demographics, statistics, existing reports in the community, pulls that all together, and just tries to give a snapshot of where you are today and what some of the key takeaways of those that information entails. And so a lot of the boards that you see around you today, those key takeaway boards are some of the major pieces of information that came out of that baseline report. And then the second piece, which is sort of the main body of the plan, the main body of the POCD, we are going to try to make more concise. So all that long detail, like the baseline report might be 160, 180 pages. We want the main body of the POCD to be really accessible. It should be brief, to the point, and really explain to people in plain language what the facts tell us, what we've heard from the community, your vision, your goals, your objectives, your actions, as concisely as possible. So it's not something that's sitting on a shelf somewhere that's inaccessible to people. The average person should be able to pick this up and understand, yes, this is the direction the town is going. And what exactly that's going to look like, part of that is going to be shaped by what we hear from you today. So we do not have a preconceived notion of what the chapters are going to be. We want to hear what the common themes are from the public, and then start building those chapters around what seems to be most important to the community here. So one of our next steps after this meeting and after the virtual open house, which I will talk about in a bit, will be that, what is this plan going to look like? How is it going to be structured that makes sense to people? And finally, part 3 will be an implementation plan. And that's where we get into the nitty-gritty of how the town will take actions from year to year over the next 10 years to address the actions they say you're going to accomplish. What is the time frame? What is the cost? Who specifically is going to be in charge of implementation? So year to year, we can hold people accountable and say, all right, this is what we said we were going to do. Have we done it or not? So what have we heard so far? So yes, this is the first big public gathering, but we have actually done a lot of work of gathering information over the last several months. And I just want to give you a very high-level summary of what we have heard so far. There was a kickoff survey, an online survey held over the fall, which I'll give you a summary report on. We did a series of 26 interviews with community organizations throughout Groton and the region. And then, of course, there was the work on the baseline report, which I just explained. And a couple weeks ago, we had a series of 3 focus groups with different community organizations in Groton. So we've been working behind the scenes to get a lot of great information leading up to today. So the kickoff survey, we got 231 responses, both online and hard copy. And one thing I want to point out is that anytime we're going out to the public, we're going to be asking the questions that you see up here. We're going to be asking getting to know you questions. And if you have not filled yours out already, as you entered, everyone should have gotten or been told about the getting to know you survey that we have today. So we really strongly encourage everyone to take this, even though of course it is voluntary, because this helps us understand who we're reaching, who we're not, and how we can do better moving forward in outreach. So just to give you a sense of who responded to that online survey, and again, this is not scientific, but just to give you a general sense, about a third of the respondents were over the age of 65. Only about 16% were under 35. So we have younger adults were underrepresented in that survey. About 58% were women. So women were overrepresented, but also cheers to the women for being more civic-minded and responding. In terms of race and ethnicity, about 75% white, 12% mixed, 5% Hispanic and Latino, and 3% Black or African American. So I think in particular, the Hispanic and Latino population was underrepresented, most of those different categories. In terms of income, tended to be wealthier. About half of respondents made over $100,000 a year. 9% made less than $50,000 per year, and to put that in perspective, about 28% of households in Groton currently make less than $50,000 per year. So certainly that population is underrepresented in these results. In terms of employment, about 55% employed full-time, about 32% retired. Again, that older population being a bit overrepresented. But for anyone who wants to dive deeper into these details, all this information is up on Greater Groton. There is a POCD, Groton 2035 page on the Greater Groton website where all of this lives, and we encourage you to visit that. So very briefly, in terms of the major themes we heard from the kickoff survey, and the summary online is, of course, much more detailed. But splitting it up into 2 camps, what bothers people and what people really appreciate about the community. Boredom was number 1 and across all age groups. People thought that Groton didn't have enough to do, and people were bored here. And that was true for the 20-year-olds, and it was true for the 60-year-olds, interestingly enough. There were concerns about traffic and road safety, particularly for pedestrians and bicyclists. A concern that it's a very car-centric community. Affordability issues were way high on a lot of people's lists, specifically housing affordability. This one, I hope this gets a laugh. Too many car washes and auto-related businesses. Like, no matter who we talk to, that comes up. So that's, we may have to make that a pillar of the plan. Limited housing options, so people felt that they didn't have the types of housing they needed to meet their needs for their stage of life or the size of their family or household. And finally, aesthetic issues, particularly around your commercial districts, concerns that a lot of those properties are disinvested and could be much more attractive. And then on the positive end of things, people are really happy with your access to water, really happy with the natural beauty and the open space in this community. The fact that you have a friendly community, that you have a small town atmosphere. Diversity, this was very interesting. Diversity came up as a positive across all age groups, and people meant that both in terms of the population is diverse and your environment is diverse, and the types of built environment and the types of neighborhoods that you have here are diverse, and that was seen as a positive thing. Your location, that you're near Boston and New York, and have that mix of urban and rural in one place. Your historic and cultural heritage opportunities, your historic districts, the legacy of the submarine and the subbase, and your various community traditions. And finally, education and libraries, your public school district and the public libraries were a huge asset for many people. So again, a lot more information online, but those are just some of the highlights. Also wanted to highlight some of the major things we heard from the 26 different community organizations that were interviewed. Housing was one of the things that came up most frequently. High cost, low availability. There was concern on the effects of seniors, a lot of concern about displacement of seniors who are on fixed incomes, who are not able to stay in their homes. Trends of people coming in, buying properties, renovating them, which has a lot of positive connotations, but also ends up making those units more expensive. And many groups were supportive of zoning changes to allow more different types of housing, and that's why we're talking about that at our housing station today, in fact. Cost of living was a huge issue across the board, an overall concern about the economy, about inflation, about things costing more and people not being able to get by, and that more and more people are relying on social services for basic needs. And that also leading to a higher risk of homelessness for more people in the community. In terms of transportation, a lot of people mentioned its importance, particularly for seniors and low-income residents or other people who don't have reliable access to a car. It's just difficult to get around town if you don't. And a need to improve pedestrian connectivity. And I think that was both in terms of sidewalks and your trail system, which was definitely a need that was brought up. Accessibility. So for people with mobility issues, again, that issue of transportation, it's hard to get around, and what can we do to make our public spaces more accessible to everyone? There was a concern about young people, teens and youth in the community with a perceived increase in mental health issues and substance abuse issues. And there was a lot of talk about different communities' relationships with town government. Many interviewees actually spoke very highly of the town and town employees and appreciated that they are always there to listen and engage. And people want to be more involved in the government process, and found that there are groups of people who are hyper engaged and often wear many different hats and will be involved in many different groups, and then people who aren't engaged in anything at all. So one of our goals is to try to reach those people who are not really participating at all at the moment. And then finally, groups offered their resources to the town, and the town offered resources back, and we hope to keep building relationships with individuals and organizations in the town throughout this process and beyond. So for the sake of time, because I want to get you back around these boards, I had a few slides that summarized the key takeaways, but those are all the things you can read at the boards around the room. So I'm going to blithely skip ahead and go to next steps, what you can expect after tonight. So starting tomorrow, maybe not if you wake up at 5 a.m., but sometime tomorrow morning, you can expect on the Greater Groton website, there will be a virtual open house, and that will include all the information you see at these boards and basically a survey that recreates as closely as possible all the questions and activities we're asking tonight. So if you have things that you didn't feel you could thoroughly express tonight and you want to write them down in more detail, please go. If you have neighbors who couldn't be here tonight, or family members, or church groups, or social clubs, or sporting groups, anyone that you're connected with in this community, we beg you, please spread the word. We want as many people to go to that virtual open house as possible. Double, triple, quadruple the number of people who are here today. Let's get 1,000 people on that website. We want to hear back from them. So that will be open for the remainder of this month at least. And then at that point is when I said we start, we'll build the structure of the plan based on that. And throughout this process, we'll be going before the Planning and Zoning Commission. We'll be sending additional surveys out to the public. So as we start getting down to the level of developing strategies, one, we want to hear from you. So be sending those comments into town staff. through the website or however you'd like. We're going to be collecting all that information, and that way we have a bucket of information on all the various possible strategies that the PZC can consider in adopting this plan. So this is the major step one for the general public, and we encourage you to bookmark the Groton 2035 page on the Greater Groton website. All that information and communication will go out through there. Also, as you came in, this is probably the most important bit of information for the evening. You were entered into a raffle if you signed in. And we are going to pause now. We have 8 wonderful raffle prizes, gift certificates to many restaurants throughout the community. And as a thank you for coming here tonight. What's that? A restaurant you can pick for open space? Oh, yeah, you can win a piece of property. We're not there yet. But if anyone wants to donate one for the next raffle, please talk to me. So, should I invite Lauren up? What's the best way to? Oh, John. John is going to make the announcement.
Beret Rafferty gets as a winner. There he is. All right. Oh, there's a cool little spinny app on the phone. I like this. All right. Pat Pia. All right. And who's giving out the prizes? Steve Hudashek. All right, cool. And I think C. Shannon, maybe she's, oh, Deb's got him. Deb Jones over here has him. And Lynn Marshall. All right. Oh, I don't know. Oh, is that 4? What do we got, 4? That's 4, okay. We're planners, not mathematicians. And Michelle Fitzpatrick. All right. Robert Pia. All right. James Covington. You sure? All right. Yeah. Well, that's 6 now. And Jeff Pritchard. All right. And oh, Jeff wants us to throw it back. Okay. Wow. All right. Emma Gibbs. Thanks for coming, Emma. All right, great. Well, thanks everybody for showing. Oh, all right. Steve's throwing. All right. Wow, we get a lot of nice.
Pressure.
Oh, yeah. One more. All right, Lee Williams. All right. Excellent. All right, well, thanks for coming. Don't leave yet. Please keep filling out the boards. Again, really appreciate all of you coming. Jeff mentioned stuff on Greater Groton. We'll have a lot of this information. And as this project keeps moving along, we're going to keep posting things up on Greater Groton. And soon we'll be getting into those next steps. So thanks again, everybody.